Bass fishing in America is more than a pastime. It's a cultural ritual woven into weekend mornings, roadside bait shops, and the pulse of lakefront towns. From quiet coves to televised tournaments, it spans the humble to the heroic, beckoning generations with the promise of strategy, serenity, and a splash-filled excitement. Its allure lies in the universal drama, the cast, the weight, the sudden tension, and the triumphant voyage from water to hand. When it comes to bass fishing, the Delta has a lot to offer, so let's take a gander. I'm your host, Stu Donald. Let's head to the Delta. The largemouth bass is the heavyweight of the black bass family, prized for its aggressive strikes and adaptability. What old-timers once called green trout are found throughout Alabama's lakes and rivers, including the Delta. They thrive in warm, vegetated waters and can reach over 20 inches in length. Its signature feature is a jaw that extends past the eye, and it's known for ambushing prey like bluegill, frog, and even small snakes. It's the state freshwater fish of Alabama and a favorite among anglers for its aerial acrobatics when hooked. Largemouth bass move shallow in spring to spawn around 55 to 65 degrees, with males guarding nests and females retreating after laying eggs. In summer, they seek cooler, deeper areas and feed early or late. Fall brings a feeding frenzy as they chase bait fish into shallows, while winter slows their metabolism. They hold deep and respond to slow presentations. I personally have been catching largemouth bass off of this Delta most of my life. In fact, my personal best of 7 pounds 9 ounces came from Lake Citronelle, which is on the northern part of the Delta. It's fed by Cedar Creek, which drops directly into the Mobile River. Looking very similar to the largemouth, the Alabama spotted bass, often confused with its northern cousin, the Kentucky spot, is native to the Mobile River basin and known for its tenacity and streamlined build. Yet the Kentucky spotted bass and the Alabama spotted bass were cousins at a Southern family reunion. The Kentucky spot would show up early, perfectly groomed, bragging about its streamlined proportions and official lineage. Bless its heart. In layman's terms, it exhibits a more streamlined body shape, moderate lateral spotting, and less pronounced cranial morphology. Meanwhile, the Alabama spot would roll in fashionably late, a little chunkier, throwing shade and sass like it owns the river, which technically it does. Like my grandpappy used to say, Alabama spots are genetically distinct and morphologically differentiated, typically showing a deeper body and more aggressive blotching along the lateral line. One's got pedigree, the other's got personality. And if you ask them to share a fishing hole, expect passive-aggressive fin flicks, arguments about who has the biggest set of gills, and a full-on splash war. Unlike largemouths, its jaw does not extend past the eye, and it sports a tooth patch on the tongue. It prefers rocky flowing waters and can reach sizes over 8 pounds in reservoirs. Its aggressive nature and deep water habits make it a challenge to catch, especially when targeting brush piles or submerged structure. Alabama spotted bass spawn earlier than largemouths along rocky banks and creek mouths in the springtime. Summer finds them schooling in deep water, feeding on shad mostly. In fall, they follow bait fish towards the surface and become more aggressive. During winter, they stay near deep ledges or structure and feed with slower finesse tactics. The similarities between largemouth bass and the Alabama spot are such that until a few decades ago, a lot of times we couldn't tell which one we were catching. Because of that, I have no idea what my personal best Kentucky spot is. I'm willing to bet it's nowhere near the 7 pound 9 ounces of that largemouth though. The last black bass that you can find in the Delta is the Coosa bass, which is a member of the Redeye bass group. It's endemic to upland streams in the Coosa River system, which is one of the major tributaries to the Mobile-Tensaw Delta. Now, I've never caught one of these boogers myself because they live way further north than I'm used to fishing. But you can find them in the extreme north parts of the Delta. Now, they're smaller and more elusive than their cousins and rarely exceed 17 inches, but they dazzle with olive mottling and red eyes and white-edged tail fins. They thrive in cool, rocky creeks and are favored among fly anglers for their scrappy fight and vibrant coloration. Unlike lake-dwelling bass, Coosa bass are more sensitive to habitat disruption and are considered a conservation priority in parts of Alabama and also Georgia. The Coosa bass, which is, I said, native to the upland streams, spawn in rocky riffles when spring water warms up to around 60 degrees, give or take. In summer, they retreat to deeper pools or shaded runs and become less active during the midday. Fall sparks feeding along current streams and eddies, and winter slows them down again. They tuck into deeper, slower water and require a delicate touch. Now, as I said, I've never had the pleasure to catch a Coosa bass, but it is on the top of list of fish that I want to catch one day, right alongside the smallmouth, which is another bass that does not live this far south. Now that we have left the black bass family, that brings us to the striped bass, the natural striped and the hybrid striped. The striped bass is a migratory powerhouse originally native to the Atlantic coast, but now stocked in many Alabama reservoirs. It's easily recognized by its bold horizontal stripes and forked tail, and it can grow to over 50 pounds. Striped bass prefer open water and cooler temperatures, often schooling near deep channels and dam tailwaters. Now, these striped bass head upriver to spawn when spring temps hit 55 to 65 degrees, feeding mostly on shad. As summer heats up, they seek deep, oxygen-rich refuge, with feeding best at dawn, dusk, or night. Fall sees a return to aggressive shallow feeding, and winter drives them deep where they feed less but can be caught with patient jigging or trolling. The wintertime in the Delta is one of the prime times to go for striped bass because of how mild the winters are on the Gulf Coast. Now, their hybrid offspring, the hybrid striped bass, commonly called wipers, I don't know why, are a cross between striped and white bass. White bass do not live in the Delta. This fish combines the strength of stripers with the adaptability of white bass, making them ideal for stocking in southern lakes. Hybrids are aggressive feeders, often chasing shad to the surface in dramatic feeding frenzies, and are known for their hard runs and strong fights. Hybrid striped bass mimic striped bass with aggressive spring feeding and spawn-like runs. They school in open water near bait fish during summer, with activity peaking around thermoclines. In fall, they chase shad into shallows and strike topwater aggressively. Winter finds them suspended deep near bay, where slow tactics often pay off. The Mobile-Tensaw Delta is a labyrinth of freshwater riches, where bass diversity thrives like few other places in the Deep South. From the fierce largemouth lurking in cypress-shadowed sloughs to the elusive Alabama spotted bass weaving through river currents, each species plays its part in a living tapestry of aquatic drama. These waters whisper tales of old, of monster catches and quiet mornings steeped in fog, and today they beckon to new explorers. Whether you're casting from the bank or gliding through winding creeks, bass fishing in the Delta offers not just sport, but an immersion into one of America's most vibrant and storied ecosystems.
Hey y'all, got time for a quick story? Once upon a time, there was somebody watching videos and they tapped on like and subscribe. The end.